Hey Ravens, welcome to another exciting edition of Tarot Tuesday. You may have to bear with me a little bit. I've been kind of sick today, so whether that alters the reading for better or worse, I guess we'll find out together. But this is the reading for the week that begins September 10th, 2019. See what I mean? Already off to a great start. Um, And, just as a quick reminder before I get started, you can find me on Patreon. We've got two over there already, Nick A and Beth E. Thank you both for your contributions to Nine Nights Wisdom. Means a lot. Hopefully a few more people will be joining you. If you've been following me on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, you'll have seen that the Seeker Sunday reveal has been moved back a day. So if you get the posts there normally, Secret Sunday, it will be posted on Sunday and revealed on Monday, but if you become a patron, it's one of the newest perks. You'll see Secret Sundays revealed that same night. So, let's talk about the aspects for this week. There are quite a few, quite potent, but the big one is we're sort of building up to this as we get into Friday night over Saturday. It helps that right now the moon is in an air sign, helping us make these. You'll see what I mean. The moon's in Aquarius, but the aspect we're focusing on is Mercury conjunct Venus, represented by the Magician and the Empress. And both of these are moving into the sign of Libra together, which is represented, hang on, let me get that a little closer, by Justice. So, something is at a very large tipping point. And if you've been paying attention to the horoscope this year, you've seen that sort of, it's kind of started in Leo, but it was really big in Virgo, and this is going to be the tail end of it here in Libra, is the four-planet aspect of the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all kind of occupying the same place in space at the same time. Big earthy energy in Virgo where it came to its peak, and now that we're in September and it's sort of starting to break apart, it's starting to separate a little. It won't really fully do that until actually like right before this aspect happens, so it's sort of think of this like the stage 2 rocket. Mercury and Venus have picked up all they're going to get from the Sun and Mars, and they're taking off on their own in a new direction. What that direction is this intensely creative process, but as with Libra, the scales, Justice, it is a tipping point. It is, it is a thing of where options need to be weighed carefully, reactions need to be measured, results need to be measured. We go from, interestingly enough, the intensely detail-oriented sign of Virgo into something that requires that level of orientation. So we're getting a lot of really, really good things out of this to bring into this aspect, which is, again, the Magician and the Empress, two really creative cards. So what I'm drawing out of all this is that where the more sensitive you are, the stronger this feeling is going to be, that we're at the crux of some very big creative, energetic shift. Energy is going to be felt a lot more plainly, directing it at things that our energy already wanted to go to. There's again, like I said, it's about creativity, and it's about like giving that creativity what it's owed. Give your creative potential, your creative energy, your creative spirit the things that it needs and wants and deserves. But again, it's also about weighing carefully what those demands are on you and what the demands of other things are on that creative potential that you have, and deciding whether or not it's worth it to either continue not paying your creative spirit its due, or in choosing to start doing that, or to do it more equitably if you've been doing it but not well up to now. If you've been doing it well up to now, then this is going to be a pretty easy thing for you to do. And again, it's just a matter of, like, we all face the same challenges in life. It's a question of at what pace and to what degree. There are going to be some people who are way more well adjusted to this than others. That is sort of the unavoidable, and for the disadvantaged, unfortunate nature of the human existence is that we don't all go through it the same way. Blessing and a curse in one go. But either way, let's talk a little bit more specifically for each sun sign about what's happening here. We've still got a week or two of Virgo being first, so we'll start there. Give me just a second here. Okay, so let's talk cards. For Virgo, the Devil. As soon as I drew this card and I saw it, the phrase about how the devil is in the details immediately leapt to mind. And how fitting that I mentioned you to begin with, Virgo, in a thing that's going to be doing most of its affecting in Libra. But for you, that the calculus of effort versus reward, input versus output, is going to be it's going to be a calculus for you. There are a lot of moving parts to it for you, and but I would also be aware of your tendency to get bogged down in those details. It's kind of, for you, the balancing act just it cascades all the way through this process, as not only are you going to have to measure, am I getting my work's worth out of my work, whatever that work is, whether it's your job work or your personal work. But again, that question of, am I making a fair balance between the amount of time I give to the things I want, my obligations, and the things I want to give my time to. It is important that these be 50-50. Maybe even, and this is just a personal thing, with a slight bias towards yourself. We do, as a whole, as a society, we do far too little to value ourselves as people. And that's an important lesson that we're all going to get out of this. But for you, Virgo, that math might be just a touch more difficult to do than it's going to be for the rest of us this week. For Libra, we have the Fool. And it's really fitting, I think, that this is your card, Libra, given that it's your sign that this aspect is going to be taking place in at the 0 degree mark. They're literally crossing into Libra holding hands. And something about this is new for you, Libra. You're going to be taking... something about this is taking first steps in a new direction for you. You are not accustomed to having to do what you're doing or going to have to do. This is brand new territory for you, totally uncharted. But I get the really strong sense that you need to take the leap and fly. Despite your misgivings about, facing and braving the unknown, or however you want to think about it, this is necessary. This is needful. You need to do this. You can't not do this. Um, Now, it's not quite so drastic as like an Eight of Cups where you have to leave what you know behind and venture forth into the unknown. This is largely, like, whatever comes of this is largely positive, although it is a test, but you don't have to leave the past behind in order to chase the future. It's not that dire. It might feel that way, but that's not actually the case. For Scorpio, death. Um, if I look amused, it's only because I am. Um, as I'm fairly sure that in the Celestial Tarot, death either represents you or your ruler Pluto, Scorpio. But either way, change and transformation um, on a on a big but personal level, not the Tower, which is foundation shaking and kind of the overhaul of a structure. Death is personal. Death is internal. Um, and so this is going to be a great week to embrace the phoenix in you because that is one of your animal symbols. Um, to rise from your ashes and become something greater. Um, but this is the same thing I sort of to ease Virgo's mind. This is that kind of thing that Libra needed to not Virgo but Libra needed to not be afraid of. With the Fool is this kind of drastic shift that the Death card portends. It is going to be sweeping. It is going to be dramatic. You will come out the other side of it. I won't attach a value judgment to it, so I'm not going to say better, but you will come out the other side changed. You will come out the other side different. Maybe it's a change you wanted. Maybe it's just one you needed. But either way, something about learning to strike this balance is going to make plain to you that things cannot continue as they are. Something's got to give, Scorpio, and you need to do your damnedest to make sure that thing is not you. For Sagittarius, we have the Emperor. Have yet to actually draw this card in this specific tarot deck, so this is the first time I'm seeing it. There's a lot of loneliness coming from this card for you, Sagittarius. Just like the Emperor is towering and in charge, but alone. And even at the height that it reaches, look how small the sun is for it. I really am getting like a caution card of what it can be like, not just to be the Emperor, but to be a tyrant. You can have things your way if you want them to. That's what you want, Sagittarius. But that attitude may be more likely to win you enemies than friends. Certainly, it's not enamoring of the people that are already close to you, or at least that's the feeling that I'm getting. So just remember that if you don't acknowledge how you get to a place, that it can be really lonely to be at the top. It can be really lonely to take the lead if you don't particularly care how you get there so long as you get there. I think the other thing, too, that's telling about this is that the sun is black in this picture. Like, that straight up looks like a cigarette burn. So, like I said, be mindful of how you win your victories. Some costs are too high to pay for the sake of getting what you want. For Capricorn, the Eight of Swords. Talk about changes. Again, the butterfly in its chrysalis. For you, the change itself may not be profound, Capricorn, but something about it is profound for you because it allows you to see something more clearly than you'd been before. And the Eight of Swords is a lot about opening your eyes and seeing that although you may be in a sticky situation, there is a way out. You have to let the blindfold drop, or it has to be taken off your eyes. And if that one of those two things is going to happen to you, Capricorn, as a result of all this, something in some specific instance, the wool is going to fall away from your eyes, so to speak, and you're going to see, things, people, a given situation for what it really is, and be able to make a final decision as to whether or not you want things to go on as they've gone on. There's a way out of this maze for you, but you have to want to get out in the first place. You have to want to see the way out. All too tempting to stay where you are and sort of like let misery have its way with you. I think it's a feeling anyone could understand, but I'm getting stiff. That's a feeling anybody can understand, the feeling of just being trapped in a bad situation. But there's a difference between feeling stuck and allowing yourself to remain in that place where all you can or want to do is just, sit around and have a case of the poor me. Sometimes that's warranted too. It's just that in this specific instance, I don't think that will help you. You can get out of this. This is not a situation the situation as it is not fixed. You can make it better one way or the other. You just have to want to. For Aquarius, we have the Nine of Cups. This card is not normally indicative of this for me, but with the moon there, something about this feels restful. Seems like a strange word for this card because normally, like most other tarot readers, I interpret it as kind of like the wish fulfillment card, having plenty. But in this case, I definitely get a vibe of it being a kind of energetic plenty. If we want to borrow from that saying about not being able to pour from an empty cup, yours is about to be full, maybe to overflowing. And something about this change is going to help you get there, get to this place where you can refill your cup and have the physical or emotional or spiritual or whatever energy it is that you've been lacking. It's coming. It's on its way. This is the beginning of doing the work. And again, all of these readings are predicated on that first one of doing the work to balance, doing the work to strike a balance that allows your full creative potential to blossom forth in whatever way that's relevant. Doing this work will give you the chance to get to the place where your cup is full. Again, for what I'm getting of a feeling is the first time in a while. You've been working very, very hard, Aquarius, and it's time to take a break. Let yourself have a little bit of ease. It's fine. The work of striking that balance is not necessarily work. Sometimes it can be learning not to work so hard at something. For Pisces, we have the Six of Wands, the Victory card, success, triumph, flight. I'm happy to see this card for you, Pisces. I feel like you often get the short end of the stick in my draws for some reason. Even if other people, because there are a few other tarot readers and various other diviners and intuitives that I watch on YouTube, along with posting my own videos. And even on weeks, Pisces, where they say great things are coming for you, I'm like, are they though? And then I hold up like the Nine of Swords. Which, it is, I'm only amused, and this is only funny in a cosmic way. Obviously, I don't want anybody to get dumped on constantly in my readings, but it feels like you get it the worst, Pisces. Not this week. This week is a success for you because maybe out of all the sun signs that there are, you have the greatest struggle with striking a balance about where your energy is going. And part of that is just because you're so sensitive to other people that it feels like second nature to do the work of evening them out, because feeling them being imbalanced also makes you imbalanced. Perhaps more than any of us who don't have other placements that heighten it. Pisces suns are you're kind of just naturally sensitive to the emotions and energy levels of other people. One depressed person can ruin a party for you, just like that. And if you want me to quote my source, my mom's a Pisces sun, and I've watched it happen, so. But anyway, never mind the cheap New York humor. Back to the contest. Six of Wands, Pisces, is the Victory card. This is a great success for you. All of that was to preface that this is a great success for you, because this is a lesson that you need to learn. Like natively speaking, based just on the sun sign, it's going to be harder for a Pisces sun to deal with putting themselves first and striking an internal balance first than it is for any of the other sun signs. But it's specifically putting the self first. Like I'm about to go on to Aries, and we have totally the opposite problem. We're way too good at putting ourselves first. Me first, me first. It's why we're in front of the zodiac. We're bad about that. Sorry, Aries. I'll finish that in a minute. But Pisces, what this is a really great success for you, because not only are you getting the opportunity to do it, but the energy is there to help you find that place where you strike that balance and you make it work. Now, granted, that's not to say that it's going to be easy. It's just that the energies of the universe are in your favor. Putting the work in, this is an especially good time to put the work in, because the work will go more smoothly. Again, not necessarily easier. This might still be the hardest thing you ever do, but you'll run into fewer obstacles, so on and so forth. Great things for you this week, Pisces, which I'm really, really happy about. Now, on to Aries, who have been impatiently waiting for me to draw the cards since I said their name. I love you guys, but it's true. We have the Four of Wands. And I have such a hard time reading this as anything other than an opening doorway, or an opening portal, or an opening eye, but something that is opening to something else beyond. We're striking a balance. Again, this is all about striking a balance, but for you, Aries, finding a way to strike that balance well is the opening of a doorway to something new, to something great. That is a light shining from inside. Something great, something, and again, I cannot get over how much that looks like an eye. Opening to see, a brighter future. It's the dawn of something new. Striking this balance is going to help you see clearly. Again, like where are you headed? Where are you going? Where do you want to go? And are the doors open that will take you there? So, as the weekend gets closer, keep your eyes on that areas. I mean, everybody needs to be keeping their eyes on the prize. Like I said, this aspect doesn't form until Friday, and this part of it doesn't even occur until early Saturday morning. Like all of what I'm telling you to do now is just build up. This is what you need to do to be ready for it. This is what's coming. Prepare yourself. You have all the rest of today, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days before this happens. So make the best of that time. Get yourself in order. Get your house in order. Do what you need to do to focus, center, all of those things. Taurus. The Father of Swords. Oh, they better not be breaking shit out there. Anyhow, Father of Swords, or King of Swords, if you like, for Taurus. This is about taking the helm of your own ship. For you, Taurus, it's striking this balance is essential for you, not in the way of like as a person, like it was, so resonantly for the Pisces sun signs, but more about like being able to really take command of your world, more so than command of yourself. You're already in this card implies that you're already in pretty decent command of yourself. What you're being what's being asked of you here, Taurus, is to fully take up a role in which you give the orders and are the authority. You need to remember the strength of your hand, and the only way to do that is to draw your own sword, to loosely paraphrase Gandalf. To put your sword in your hand and to do something with it, because you have it. But striking that balance is going to be key to remembering how to wield that sword properly. And to cut away those things or the way that things have grown that keeps you from striking that balance in the way it needs to be struck. There's some stuff you've been wasting your time on that you need to not waste it on, and by the same token, there's been stuff you haven't been spending enough time on that you need to spend more. It's wielding a sword is to sort of wrap this up. Wielding a sword is as much about where you put it as how you hold it. For Gemini, we have another king, another father. This time it's the Father of Cups. And rather like Aquarius this time around, Gemini, you need to get your emotional house in order. That's what this card is for. That's what striking this balance is for. It's not enough for you to merely strike this balance to have your emotional energies put to work in the way that you need them to, but it's about your emotional attachment to all of your energy and where it's going. You need to be more mindful, if not accepting, of how you feel about where your energy is going on a moment to moment basis. Like so you're giving more energy to something than it needs, and that's a problem that you need to deal with. But paying attention to how you feel about it is the way to answer that question. If it's taking too much from you and it makes you angry, why? Versus sad or whatever other emotion. If you're not giving enough to something and it makes you feel a particular way, why does it make you feel like that? That it makes you feel is not strange or overly remarkable, but the way that it makes you feel seems to be. And you need to interrogate that this week. For Cancer, we have the Ten of Pentacles. Um, the card of abundance and plenty and wealth in some relevant sense. Renewed focus, by that token is sort of the touchstone of this for you, Cancer. It's you need a minute. You need to take a breath. You just need a break, because when you get it, you will come back from it raring to go, really feeling really, really strong and really, really positive about whatever it is that you need to put work to. And it will also shake out in a way that brings you, abundance and plenty. Not necessarily in the material sense, but not necessarily not in the material sense. This is work with a really high payoff in a way that would be almost silly for you not to pursue it. So you should pursue it. Again, what you're getting out of it is ludicrous. It's way higher payoff than either the risk you're taking or the work you're putting in. It might even be greater than both combined. And last but certainly not least, our friends in Leo, the Star. For you, Leo, something about this is ominous in the neutral sense. In the neutral sense. It's not necessarily for good, it's not necessarily for evil, but it is a sign of things to come. Which is interesting, because the role of mediator is not necessarily one that every Leo is given to. There might be a great many Leos who are, but across all Leo sun signs, mediation is not necessarily a quality that they're known for. Now, that's not a bad thing. It takes all sorts to make a world, and there are 12 zodiac signs. You do the math. The fact of any one in particular getting it over the other 11 is kind of a shock, no matter who it is. But not the point. You're learning to strike like this. It points the way to something greater. Learning to strike this balance for you. It points the way to. I get the really strong feeling that this actually points the way to something you're going to have to do again on a grander scale. And it's going to look a lot like the work you have to do to find, that inner sense of balance, that energetic justice for yourself. This work that you're doing will quite literally show up again later. You're gonna have to reckon with that a little bit. We all are, but over and above the other 11 signs of the zodiac, for you, very clearly, Leo, this is learning to do a thing, to develop a skill that you're gonna need again in the foreseeable future, not necessarily the near future, but whatever this is, it's coming again. Interesting thing, and I sort of wanted to close the reading on it, is the bottom card of the deck, which is the Magician again. all of the power, the thing about the magician is that all of the tools are in your hands. Remember that all of the symbols of the tarot are there. The sword, the wand, the pentacle, or the disc, or whatever, and the cup. You are, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, you are more than capable and more than equipped to handle the work that's coming, the work that you need to do. You have all the tools. You have all the knowledge. You have all the skill. It's a matter of, I'm pulling this the wrong way. It's just a matter of getting the job done. So, that's Tarot Tuesday for this week. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me over on Patreon, and I will catch you guys later.